Hello everybody, it's good to see all of y'all, and man, I have got to apologize, but putting out videos has been quite the challenge. And if you've been following the news lately, you know what we've been going through down here in Southwest Louisiana. So from my last video I made, Lake Charles was a couple of weeks into recovery efforts after Hurricane Laura. So what's happened since then? I can tell you, activity for helping people, relief work, and things like that has really taken up a lot of time, for sure, and a lot of figuring out who's at church, for relief worker people, and Hope Force has been with us for a good number of weeks after Hurricane Laura, doing things. And while I was working with them over there in Lake Charles, I found out that 95% of the roofs in Lake Charles, whether business or residential, have all been compromised in some kind of way, shape, manner, or form. Whether they just lost a few shingles, or a tree knifed down through their house, or the neighbor's roof flew onto somebody else's roof. Very dramatic. And you've all seen videos and things like this, and I can refer you to that. I want to show you, though, before we knew Hurricane Delta was coming, we thought, well, Hope Force is going to finish up these last two homes, and I want to show you those videos right now. So I want you to see them right now. I want you to see the work Hope Force is doing. This is going to be one of the last efforts they make here before they vacate. They've been with us since a hurricane impacted us, and much thanks to them for the work they're doing. They're putting shingles on a gentleman. He's elderly, and all for free. So this is what I call ministry in motion, and a very caring bunch of people. Most of these kids came from Macomb, Mississippi, and some from Starkville, Mississippi. And so we're happy that they came to help this gentleman here in this stuff that is the hurricane. So anyway, thanks to them. This man has a new roof. You don't have to worry about his house leaking anymore. Well, that's what it was like previous to Hurricane Delta, and then I found out through that 10 to 20% of the buildings in Lake Charles are totaled, whether business or residential. So the work is massive, it's deep, and it's going to be long-standing for a good long time. And of course, Hurricane Delta came through in almost the exact same path that Hurricane Laura had. It came in about 10 to 12 miles east of the Hurricane Laura path. Hurricane Delta did. It came up in the eye of the storm, was just bordered on Jennings, Louisiana, where we are. Sustained winds, I would say by the time it got to us, it was around 80 to 85, 90 miles an hour. And smaller towns to the west of us really got the brunt of that. Welch, Roanoke, Lacassine. My son lives in Iowa. If you look on a map, and about 20 miles away from Jennings toward Lake Charles. He went, of course, through his second hurricane situation as well. And this is the second time he had an eye wall border grazing of his property. and his home sustained a little bit more damage, a little bit more water this time. Still is able by miracle to live in his house. He just got the electricity turned on here in the last couple of days. And what's unique about that family, my son and his wife, is that they have a newborn, and the newborn was born just a couple of months ago, and so in just a couple of months' time, the poor little girl has had to evacuate twice from her home to evacuate hurricanes, and she has spent more time evacuated, whether it away for the hurricane to go away or staying at our house a number of weeks. She has spent more time elsewhere than in her own little bed, in her own little room, in her own home. And hopefully, hopefully those kinds of stories will now start to become a minimum for the foreseeable future as people really try to recover from this. Uh, People have asked, well, what's going on in Jennings? How is Jennings? I can tell you the church is fine. We've lost a few more shingles this time, but nothing that would be so debilitating, that we got to go and panic and all this kind of stuff. So we're okay. This roof's going to need some fixing, but we're getting something like that in the works. It has not pushed us into panic mode because we have kind of like focused our entire mission as a church right now to be of help to those who are helping. And of course, you've seen those earlier videos about that as well. What's a typical day like now? I can tell you, whatever I planned on, that day, just pick a day, ever since Hurricane Laura came, even to today, whatever I planned on doing that day when I got to my office, never happens. Okay, never happens. Something comes up. Someone is needing help. We need to get something over here. So and so over there is in need of something. We've had a funeral on top of that, and all the things that funerals take up, and there's just things like that. Just kind of like betray a regular day of ever happening. And so I've just kind of like taken the motto that whatever I planned on that day, don't plan on it. And so that's one of the reasons why it's been very difficult to get videos out, is because a lot of hurricane relief work effort really takes up a lot of time and energy. So I will just tell you this last Sunday, I got to church early. I had taken my wife previously up to Missouri to be with my son up there and to help with 4 kids with his wife up there while he's gone for a few days. And so I was up there when Hurricane Delta hit. I came down the very next day and got home late. That was Saturday. Sunday came, and of course I get to church early, and I had no idea who's going to show up for church, however, because lots of people still by that time had not had their electricity returned to them. And so we had probably a third of our regular bunch show up, and they were all glad to be there. They were all so thankful that they could be there. Even though some of them still did not have electricity. And as soon as church was over, I got home, I got something to eat, and I got a call from my wife saying another lady, her parents' home, the awning over their porch had flown over, completely reversed itself onto the top of the carport, their little temporary carport building, and wanted to know if there's anything I can do to go get it off the carport, and so I go over there and look at it, and I thought, yeah, that's probably something I could tackle, big mistake in a way. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it after I started into it, but with the help of the daughter both the parents that live there are not there now. One is in the hospital, the other is staying somewhere else, evacuated. And so the daughter comes and sheet by sheet, this 16-foot metal panels. It's like dealing with razor blades, trying to get all that disassembled and off the carport structure so that they could put the car back in its place. And the very next day, Monday, I went up to the office and tried to do a few things. Say, okay, today, and I even wrote it down. I'm going to do this, 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 and this. Videos was one of them. And I thought, well, now I need to go to the post office. Well, on the way to the post office, they get a call from Jessica, who was the daughter of the parents of whom I helped with the flown over awning onto the carport, asking if there was a way that they could put tarp on there. And when you know it, Hope Force shows up the day before, okay, and Hope Force is looking for places to go and serve, and so I just forwarded their information, and Hope Force went over to David's house and put tarp over there. While I was over there showing them where the house was, I decided I'd go check on a couple of families, So I went and checked on one family who has a bunch of people evacuated in it. Our members of our church, everybody's fine. Electricity's on. Nothing wrong with the house. But two families are living there right now. One family has lost their house from Hurricane Laura, and now are staying over there at this second home. And then I went over to another house to check on them, and they're fine. There were some people who were evacuated there as well, members of our church. They're all okay, and they're family members that are there waiting for electricity to get turned back on. A few shingles left on the house. A few shingles were tossed away from the house, but nothing debilitating. And then after visiting with them some, I get a phone call from another guy wanting to know if they could come and look at his house, see if Hope Force could do something about it. So I go and survey that house. Very minimal damage. I call Hope Force. Hope Force says they'll be over there after they get through with David's house. And then on the way back to church, I decided to stop at a neighboring church, First Church of Christ in Jennings. I heard that they had flooded. They live in a flood zone. And sure enough, I got in there and visited with the elder there. And they had fans blowing. The water was gone, but they were trying to dry the place out and all this. I'm not sure how all that's going to work out. So I jump in the car with this elder. The elder's named Phil. We go and check on a lady's house. She was concerned about her roof. We looked at her roof from the outside, crawled up into her attic, and just kind of like crawled around as best we could to see if we see any daylight. We couldn't see anything wrong. Her structure was fine, but she was worried, We want to bring comfort to people, especially those who are living by themselves. Everything was fine. We talked with her some, and then we went over to another middle-aged lady, and she has had a history of having a stroke earlier in her life, and was still kind of coming out of it some. She was fine, but she was alone in her house. A tree came and really crunched her front up pretty good, a really huge limb in the backyard that was from the previous hurricane that was not removed yet. And so her tree that was in front, that had crunched the first part of the house, front part of the house, she paid $1,000 to have that tree cut up and moved to the road, And so that was done. And so then we moved over to another lady's house, me and Phil, and her fence needed a quick repair. We went over there to just kind of look and see if it could be done real quick. We thought it could. It's one of those vinyl fences where all the slats and all that kind of mesh in together, and so there was enough panels there and things like that. And it took about an hour, but we got her fence up and going for that repair for her, just real quick. Then we got 4 more calls from people who wanted who wanted tarps, And so I forwarded all that information as I got them over to Hope Forest, and they were to take care of that. We went out to another house that was requested to have a tarp a previous day, and so we went out there. Hope Force was going to be there, so I went out there after I took a break, and I got there just in time for them to be finished, and so that was a big laugh for them as well. So then I decided, well, it's 4 o'clock or so, 4:30 in the evening. I'm going to go to Walmart and see what I can find to eat because I'm batching it for a while, and get over to Walmart and anything that's refrigerated was gone, completely gone. And I'll post some pictures right here of empty shelves in the meat and dairy sections of Walmart. All of that food was gone. And I thought, man, this is this is inconvenient here. This is really not what I had planned on. And someone told me, he said, well, you see all those dumpsters in the back of Walmart, so that's where all that food is. And you'll see right here these long lines of these huge dumpsters that, are just full of food that just went without refrigeration way too long. And still, here it is 4 or 5 days after the hurricane, and there's still none of this stuff is back into the shelves of Walmart here in Jennings, Louisiana. Now people go outside of town and they go to other places and they get their food. It's not like we don't have food. We do have food. It's just those are the challenges that we are facing right now. After that experience of seeing all that food gone, I'd say, well, I'll just go home and I'll figure something out. And on the way home, Pat and his son Tyler, I could see him over there at the church, cutting up stuff and getting all the debris that's in our property, church property, out to the road. And so I stop and help them with that. We were able to drag all the big stuff over to the road, and the stuff that you can rake, I just mow over it, and that'll be fine. And so that was a typical day, okay? A typical day in the life of a preacher here in Jennings, Louisiana. And it's like that every day. Like today, friend, I'm going to be in the office and I'm going to do X today, make sure things get done. And before you know it, I was already troubleshooting a refrigerator at one of our church members' homes, because the freezer had quit working, So I went over to try to figure it out, and the best I could determine is a thermostat. So they're ordering a thermostat, but it's just stuff like that. The inconvenience of no internet, in the office. So I have to go back to the home, get internet there to find out information that I wanted to over there. It's just those little things like that, Now, we're still offering ourselves, Jennings Church of Christ, as a help to those who help. And Hope Force has returned, okay? They left for about a week, okay? Here comes Hurricane Delta, and a couple of days after, or the day after Hurricane Delta had struck our area, they were back. And they came with one or two representatives, and that group is now growing in number. They have about 5 right now. They're expecting another 5 or 6 in the next day or so. Their cook is coming in from New Hampshire on Wednesday, and so they're going to be in force here again, helping our area out here in southwest Louisiana. And I cannot be more appreciative to people who just sacrifice so much of their time and effort to come and help those who are in need down here in southwest Louisiana. Lake Charles is still messed up. It's going to be like that for a long while. And so your continued prayers is needed for them. Here in Jennings, I'm not going to say we're in perfect shape, but I will say that I would say in a couple of weeks, we're going to be 85-90% normal. Opposite having more blue tarps on homes, we have a few more wrecked homes from this this event with Hurricane Delta. We have other people coming. People who have come before are now returning back to us. Shiloh Baptist Church in Starkville, Louisiana. Those people up there, Mississippi, northern Mississippi, this is now their fourth visit with us as they come down here to help us out in the things that needed to be done down here, whether it's, tarping a roof, putting on a roof, cutting up trees, hauling debris to the road, mucking out houses. Very, very much needed talent is needed down in Southwest Louisiana for a good long while. On the 21st of this month, the Mennonite Disaster Services from Pennsylvania are going to be coming down here, and they're going to stay with us through the middle of December, or toward the middle of December. They're going to spend an extensive amount of time with us, and so we're going to be housing these people as they come and as they go, and we're going to be seeing to their needs, their diet, and things like that. And so we see that as our ministry right now to the people who are around down here in this area. I want to go through a verse or two here from 3 John that describes our role as being of help to those who are helping others. Okay, if you want to look at 3 John verses 5 through 8, and this is what it says. Dear friend, you are faithful in what you are doing for the brothers, even though they are strangers to you. They have told the church about your love. You will do well to send them on their way in a manner worthy of God. It was for the sake of the name that they went out, receiving no help from pagans. We ought therefore to show hospitality to such men so that we may work together for the truth. So here is a perfect situation. We have a need. Here are strangers that are coming of the faith. I don't know every one of these people who come to help, but they come to help in the name of the Lord. And that behooves us to be of hospitality to them. And it's what John says. We ought to therefore show hospitality to such men so that we may work together for the truth. The working together there is one word there in the Greek language, synergos, which means a fellow worker, a fellow laborer, And so this is what we are all doing. If you send people down here, whether you send a gift or whatever it is, we're all working together in the name of the Lord to bring relief to those down here in Southwest Louisiana who have really been through the mill through these hurricane events. I want to thank you for listening. It's been a hard slog, and I apologize again for not putting this stuff out to you earlier. Keep us all in your prayers. Keep the area in your prayers as we muster through the challenges that we face ahead. Let's pray, okay? Dear Father, we love you. We thank you. You're a blessing to us, God, even though there are these storms that come. Dear Father, the storms have left. And what remains are the people who need help and the people who can provide help. Dear Father, thank you so much for all of those volunteers and the gift givers, dear Father, who have made continuity happen in people's lives. Dear Father, thank you for all that you've done for us, even in these kinds of times. And we ask all these things in your Son's name. Amen. they're all working up there, knocking off those shingles for this project right here. Yeah, pretty brutal up there, When I'm here knocking out nails out of this wood, I'm in the shade. Okay.